Hi all, Tiffany here, trying to give you a quick overview of Clickup and how to get things set up for your yearbook for the 2021-2022, no, 2021 school year. I don't know what time it is. It's summer, July of 2020. It's just happening. Okay, so ClickUp is a very robust program. It's a paid program, but their free version has quite a bit of features to it that I think are going to be very useful. I have not used it yet for a full season. I've just kind of gotten it set up, and I'm really hopeful and excited about what it can do. Getting it set up was a struggle. It took me hours to figure out at what place to put certain labels so that the interface gave me what I wanted. And now that I'm happy with it, I want to give this information to you. So it's organized into spaces, lists, and tasks. It's very much a generalization, but that's where we are. So I have a space for my marketing and class culture. I have a space for yearbook, and you're going to want to put your whole yearbook in one space. So Word magazines would be great as well for a news magazine or newspaper. And basically, every spread gets its own list task that will look a lot like Trello. So my Trello fans, trust me, I love Trello. I've been using it for years, and I'm very excited about what ClickUp can do. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and create a space. I'm going to call it Yearbook Example. It is a master workspace, so my main, it'll share with everybody. And I'm just going to do to do and complete sounds great. Nothing fancy there quite yet. I'll put those in later on. I don't need time tracking. I want to add calendar because I want to be able to use things being due. And there's other elements here too, play around with it some to figure out how to best personalize it for yourself. And that looks totally fine and reasonable. Okay. Within here, I want a list. My staff is divided into teams. You might want to do a list that is academics for your academic team or your academic section. I'm just going to do one for blue team, assuming that you guys work in teams as well. I highly recommend it. There's lots of information out there. If you're not doing it yet, on your teams. The benefit of this is as you do multiple teams, they can only see, or they can get into the menu that lets them just see their team's work, but you can see the whole page. So we're at this point gonna do some tweaking because I want this page to look like this listing of all of these wonderful assignments and labels and just beautiful things. So let me get that started. I'm gonna start here with list settings and go ahead and edit list statuses. I actually could have done this earlier, but I'm going to do it right here. So we're going to do custom, and I'm going to start with not to do, but let's call this assign spreads. Who likes it all caps? And if you kind of make awkward sounds when you type in words, it helps you spell them. And then we're going to go for in progress. I like that one. We're going to do ready for edits. And we're going to do revisions needed. Each one needs a color, so we're definitely going to give revisions needed. Angry red, ready for edits. Let's do a bright orange there too. Those things need to get got a lot of attention to. And then we're going to leave the complete. We can actually call that done, whatever makes us happy. And so that's going to give me a couple different options in terms of process. So this section is going to get my assignments, my spreads, but I'm not quite done yet. I actually want to change these columns here because there's some really cool stuff you can do. Let me click back over to my official team and you can kind of see my goals. So we have some options here in terms of assignee, progress, due date, spread style, deadlines, editor approvals, and the Google Doc. And I'll explain kind of why they're there in a couple. So as I head back to my blue team, I'm going to keep assignee, keep due date. I don't need priority. So I'm going to hide that column. I'm going to add a column though. And for this one, I would like to see progress. So progress will automatically show me how they're doing in terms of their sub steps. I'm gonna call this one progress. Perfect. That one's up there. I would also like to have their spread style. This is one of the things I really, really like. So I'm going to do a drop down field. I'm going to call this one spread style. And you can do this for copy style, you can do this for layouts. Our basic idea is that there's different, or you can do this for layouts. So if I want to have a traditional spread, that's going to be one option. If it's a profile, that's another. If it's a full picture, I can spell, I promise. It's a theme spread if it is modular. I can go ahead and throw these up as options, and this will kind of help me to prevent doing two side by side of the same thing. You can, of course, add colors. I'm going to do this randomly. I'm not doing a palette. If it was my actual spread, you better bet I'd be doing a palette, but not right now. So I have those options. I'm going to add my column. Fabulous. I'm then going to add another drop down that is going to be deadlines. And this is not the due date, this is a deadline. So when is this going to go? Is it our October, November, December? You get the idea. I'm just going to go up to January. Pretend I'm done in January. That's funny. I'm not going to add colors there. You get that idea. I also really like having editor sign-offs. This one is also going to be, I think this one's labels. And this is editor sign-off. And so this is going to be copy editor, section, design, chief. And I actually don't add colors here again too. So chief gets pink, design gets blue, section, yellow. Okay. And last but not least, I would like to do an actual bit of text. I want to be able to put a link in something. So if I put text here and say Google link, I can have the kids attach to Google Documents. There is going to be an option on the spread to be able to attach files, but there is a storage space issue. And if you put that link right there, trust me, life is a whole lot better. Okay, so then I have my category, love it. Okay, let's go ahead and do our first spread. Let's do pages 12 to 13 is going to be summer travel because we totally traveled a lot this summer. And then I'm going to head in here and mess with this file. Now's a good place to pause if you're like, whoo, my brain hurts. Otherwise, let's keep on rocking and rolling. All right, so there is space here for your notes on spread details. There is space down below for to do. I love these subtasks. This is really where ClickUp is going so much more than Trello does. So I need to do a brainstorming sheet. And what you need to do here is think about your workflow and your process of what you want your kids to do, to check off, to work with. I'm going to pause for a second while I type in some stuff. After that brief pause, I have put in just a rough outline. This you can absolutely personalize to whatever you need it to be. So we're ending with name checked. Okay, so what I'm loving about what Trello can do versus, let me click on that. Sorry, what ClickUp can do versus Trello is I can assign these individual things to different people. So this is really useful in a team environment specifically, or in an environment where you have multiple photographers working for different spreads, doing different things, whatever the case may be. So I can specifically assign my design to a person. I'm going to assign my design to a person. I'm not going to show you guys how to do this because I have kid names on here. And there's also, once you go into it, you can do subcategories. So you can actually do a smaller piece. You can do a checklist within a checklist for name checked or interviews. You can really go kind of as far into it as you'd like to. I also like to add checklists of to do, no, sorry, to interview as a separate checklist, to photograph, and that's usually probably pretty good. It's a paragraph. I swear I can type. I really, no judgy, right? Okay. So now I've created this really awesome spread. I'm gonna close out of it. It's under summer travel. I can assign it as a whole. I can assign it to multiple people up here as a whole. I just click on that. I can choose people. Um, I can give it its due date and it'll show up in the calendar. I can also go into these tasks and I can give them due dates as well. So if I need to have all those interview questions approved by a due date, I set the due date and it'll show up on my calendar settings up here, which is what I'm looking forward to because I always forget to check what kids are working on. If I can assign it and then pull up my calendar and be like, oh, I need to go, breathe down Susie's neck to make sure she's gotten her stuff done. I can label it with, I want this to be a profile on one person. I need this to be in the October deadlines. And then as copy editor and design editor and chief sign off on it, I can see at a glance who is happy with it, who is checked in with them, whatever the case may be. And again, the Google link to the file would be able to just kind of click in right there and copy paste it, and it'll show up ready to go. And just, that's the wrong thing, but you get the idea. So here's a shortcut. If I click on this summer travel one, and there's so much stuff here. There really, really is. I can save as a template. And what I want to do is make sure before I do this that I really do like my tasks. This is going to be consistent throughout. You can do, different templates for different things. But when I save as a template and available to everybody, that's totally fine. Create new template. And I'm going to call this one spread example because that's what we're doing. And save template. Give it a second. It's going to think some. And victory, I've gotten it. So now I'm going to click on new task. I am going to control enter to open it. Sorry, I'm going to do 14 to 15, and this is going to be first day of school. It created it. I go here and I click on templates and I click on spread example. Give it a second. And I already did my labels too, was probably a problem, but there we go. Everything that I set up in the earlier one, all those checklists are already present, and we are good to go. That's kind of it. That's the place to get started. That should get you ready to kind of rock and roll so that when you're looking at your full collection of spaces and you click on your board looks accurate. You can, from your board, move to in progress as you like it, doing it this way. You can also, from down here, you can change your category and just click on the arrow, moves it through the process, which is very exciting. And again, as you assign deadlines, your calendar will get a whole lot clearer. There is more to see. This is just the setup, so you can kind of start skipping some of the work I did and figuring out where to put things in a way that will make your reports and your ability to interface great. Thanks for visiting.